I like to have everything recorded and easy to access so that if you get distracted or need to revisit this later, you can, or if somebody wanted to come and can't make it, we've got the recording. All right, so last thing I'm gonna do is share my screen and we'll get started. Let's start with just a quick little check-in in the chat area, and you can just type anything that you want in about how you are feeling about today's professional development or how you're feeling in general. You could put in there just if you're needing coffee or missing donuts from this being face-to-face, whatever that is, put that in the chat. And actually, I'm going to stop presenting for 2 seconds. And I just need to see, it should be letting you chat now. All right. If there's anybody who can give me a quick thumbs up to let me know that you can hear me, that would help, just for a quick sound check, because I had multiple meetings running at once. Thank you so much, Kristen Taylor. I appreciate you. All right, we're good. Okay, you can put anything you want in the chat about how you're feeling this morning or why you joined this session. Let's just go ahead and activate the chat to make sure it is working, and then we'll get started. Some quick housekeeping. If you are in here this morning, we're focused on getting parents and families connected. You may have found this morning from my post on Schoology. You may have found this from the resources on the Office of Curriculum and Instruction calendar. So I'm going to share that real quick. All right, let's see what's going on in the chat. All right, Kyla Barner, feeling good today? Great. Amy, good morning. All is well. Glad to know it. Mary, it's all good. Thank you, thank you. All right, so chat is working. Just keep in mind you can, thank you so much for letting me know you can hear and see me. That's helpful. Now that I am teaching again, I don't have a chat moderator, so we're in this together, folks. I'm gonna hop back and forth from time to time to look for chats, but I'm gonna be sharing my screen. I'm glad you're doing good today, Colleen, or Colette. Wonderful. And Shauna, yes, a warm day. I'm excited about that too. I'll probably try to step outside and stretch a little bit in the sunshine if I can. Okay, I should be presenting my screen, and we're going to talk first about getting our families connected. I am going to focus this talk on Schoology today, but I'm going to give you a little bit more of the why behind it as we begin. You might have found this in this calendar of what's available to us for professional development today. Thankfully, they were a little easy to find this morning. I had to do some hunting in here. I really liked the schedule that was sent out via email and posted by Emily. But today we're getting parents connected. And so what we're focusing on here is going a little bit outside of our own boxes. Instead of just focusing on our own individual classroom, we want to think bigger picture and longer term. So how many of our parents have 2 or 3 students across 2, 3, or more buildings in our district? And that's what we want to focus on. Amazing professor at the University of Cincinnati, Sarah Schroeder, introduced me to the concept of empathetic design or empathetic practices. And that's just putting ourselves in the shoes of the person on the other side of the screen. And this morning we're focusing on parents. So if we do just a few things, we can help our entire district families be more connected to their students' learning, to their students' teachers and their classrooms. So that's what we're going to focus on today. And I'm going to keep it simple with my tips and tricks, but I'm also going to show you from the parents' lens what they can access and remind you a few things that they can't to save you some time. So my plan is to only use about the first half of this time to give you information and the second half of this time to answer your questions. We will also take a 5-minute break in the middle of this just to walk away from the screen. So I want to start off by letting you know that I do still have my Parents Corner tidbits and trainings for parents. So I'm going to drop that in the chat now. And some of these resources I'll be deleting as we go, so I'll try to remember to drop them just to keep my screen flowing. All right, so that is my Parents Corner trainings and tidbits for parents. Now, I did add a couple in here that were originally made for a teacher audience, but I later found it was helpful for parents to know. So some basic quick videos that you can give them. These are the tidbits with the black covers there, but then some newer ones from this year, and then even some longer trainings. So you can use any of these videos for your parents. If you found me today through this link, that's great. Our parents don't have access to things like our Office of Curriculum Instruction. They do have access to our school, but not necessarily our staff courses. And when I get my students going on any applications, anything they do on the screen, I always have them start in Clever. Keep in mind that parents do not currently have a Clever access. And so what you post in here, you do need to remember that your parents are not in Clever, but they are guiding their students in Clever, or they're directing their students to go to Clever. And that's a really important distinction because this is not a parent account. It is a student portal. So if you are trying to differentiate today between what parents have access to and what students have access to, keep in mind that Clever is our district portal. Now, I have heard whispers or rumors that there might be a parent piece coming or that it's already in testing or whatever, but it's not available to me yet that I know of. And so we want to remember Clever is a student portal and staff portal to access all of your links. So when you communicate with parents, if you're using Clever, you might want to say, your student should go into Clever. Because I get a lot of questions, or I used to get a lot of questions from parents who said, I don't have my Clever account, or can I get my Clever login? So we want to make sure our parents understand Clever is our student portal, and they can guide their students to going to Clever. Keep that in mind when you're also posting your announcements in your classes and things like that, that's a student audience. So if you want your parents to see something, what you really need to do is post in Schoology. And so I'm going to hop over here real quick into my parent account to show you what I see from a parent perspective. So I am logged into my parent account, and I have, I don't really have 3 kids across the district. I had 3 kids across the district. So right now, my grandson, William, is at Sands Montessori in preschool. My daughter has graduated from virtual high school. And then Jackie Roetter at AWL is awesome. She lets me co-parent Riley for the purpose of training. But I like to show what it's like for parents with students across multiple buildings. So when I'm logged in as a parent, I can toggle between my students and their buildings. So when I click on William, I'm seeing the updates from his teachers. So I can see, or his staff. Like, so this is to the Sands Montessori School. So it went to the whole school. So I'm seeing all the updates to Sands Montessori School, as well as any updates from his teacher, and then district updates. If I go up and toggle to my high school student, which she's not actually in any classes right now, so there won't be a lot of updates, I can look at her updates from her teachers and her school. Then I can go up to my other child over at another school, toggle over there, and I can see their updates. It's really important to note that parents have their own account as well. And so they're only going to receive updates on Schoology if they are enrolled in a course or a group. Whoops, and I clicked the wrong thing, sorry. I should be on my parent one. So they are only going to see announcements if they're enrolled in a course or a group, all right? So parents can join courses or groups. Oh, I'm still viewing as Riley, my bad. There we go. Now I'm on my account, and I'm not in a course, and I'm in a couple of groups because I joined the COVID-19 support last year. It looks like I was maybe auto-enrolled in this. I don't remember joining CPS School Safety, so perhaps I was auto-enrolled in that. And then I did join this Rising Stars preschool group. So when parents are navigating, keep this in mind. I do have a 5-minute version of this and a full hour directed to parents, but keep it in mind that they can toggle between all of our children across the district. Now, why that's really helpful is because they can get all their information in one location, including from mobile. And all of the parents that I have worked with in general for training how to get connected, the #1 resource that they're going to use is usually their mobile phone. It's not often a computer. It works the same way on mobile, slightly different variations between Android and Apple. But in general, there's a menu that they tap to the left-hand side, and they select their child just like they do here. All right, so that's a glimpse really quickly at the parent side of viewing things. Keep in mind, they're not seeing your Clever updates. And if you're using any other platform, like I use Seesaw, and I love Seesaw. but I don't put an announcement on Seesaw and expect that all my parents see that, because then they have to remember to go into my Seesaw. And if their sibling is maybe their teacher's using Google Classroom, then they've got to remember to go in there. But if I anchor or tie everything into Schoology and put my updates and important information, how to reach me, then my parent who's got those 2 or 3 kids across different schools has one location to go. So we want to keep those parents in mind. So the next thing I want to show is, now that we've seen how parents connect, I want to talk about how you can make sure your parents are connected. The easy way for you to do that is from in any of your courses, you would simply go down to the left-hand menu. So within a course, you'd go to the left-hand menu and go down to members, right down there. Go to members. I'm going to do that in one of my sandbox courses because I don't want to show my current students, which I just love that I have current students. All right, members. And then this isn't a great example because it's just my kids and Jackie's daughter, and we all have connected parents. But what you'll be looking for is that they have a gray name beneath the child's name. Now it is gray, and I've had a few people say, well, you can't click on it. They are connected to the child. So if you click on the child's name, that is a hyperlink. Then you can get to messaging individually each of the parents. So let me go back. I don't want to message Riley's parents. So I'll go to William and I'll say, oh, I want to message William's parent. So I can click on there. I can message directly from here, or I can get their information, like what their personal Gmail account is. I can also see that parent, who their connected children are across the district. So that's a really good thing to do. Once you have your parents connected, I think some people have felt like, well, once they're connected, I'm done. It's a great thing to do, to just go in and click on your students and just take a look. Do they have siblings across the district? If I look at this and if I go to the parent first, I can see that parent's connected children. So I can know if they're benefiting from this. So that's just a little tip that's inside of the members that you can get to. You can see that that parent has 1, 2, 3 connected children across the district. All right. Now I know I tend to talk fast, so I'm going to backtrack and recap what I just showed you. I showed you the importance of getting parents connected and how parents are going to interact with their parent account. And I showed you how you can check if your parents are connected. So let's go back to that one more time. You open a course. To the left-hand menu, you open members. And within members, you can just look for that gray name. Now, if I had a full roster showing, there would probably be some with gray names and some without. Those are the parents that I want to reach out and target. Now, that's the next piece. What do I do to get them connected? That is over here in the parent access codes. So now we're going to the far right of that members tab. And we are not going to give our parents this code. Okay, that is the access code to join the course as a student. You want the parent access codes. I wish that they would put a visual or something with that because it's so easy to overlook. You can click on parent access codes, and then you are going to be prompted to download a CSV file. When you download that, if you're on your CPS issued device, it just drops down into your bottom tray, unless you've set it up to go somewhere else. And then you can open that. I'm gonna just minimize that because it's got my grandson's actual code in there, so I don't want to show that. Yep, and I just realized that my sample document is on another screen, so I'm not going to show you exactly how to navigate that because I don't want to share my grandson's parent access code. But if you look at this document, once you open it, it's under column F. I always used to joke for frustrating. Think of it as F for families. That is where the parent access code is. So you can get that yourself. And we had a lot of teachers thinking that you had to have your parents contact the help desk or go to the front office. All of that is true. But for me, I'm a primary teacher. And so I have one roster of students. If I was departmentalized, I might have 2. I might even have up to 4. But I can manage sharing my access code with my family. It's not something you have to do, but it's something I choose to do. So you can give your parents those access codes. However, if you are super busy or just overwhelmed or whatever, we do want to let you know that you can direct parents to contact the help desk, and the help desk can get them their codes, or the front office. I think the best strategy to communicate with your parents is come to me first, your classroom teacher, or go to our front office, and if not, contact the help desk. That's my personal recommendation. There is a parent help desk line now, so when they call, I believe it's option 5, they can just go straight through to that. Quick note, just because it's here and it's not something I'm covering today, QR codes are for students to get in, but this can be really helpful to primary teachers to print those for your little ones. You can snip them and direct send them to parents, or you can go into an individual child and you can get their QR code as well. It's supposed to be here. Looks like it's only giving me the option to print all. It's supposed to be in the, oh, there it is. I can print their QR code, maybe because Mary doesn't have one. Yeah. So right there is their QR code option. I would share that with my parents with my young students. All right, so recapping again, I found my connected parents and my members. I got their access codes over here from the parent access codes. Let me pause and go back and see if there's questions about getting your parents connected to Schoology. Yay, the 60s today, sweet. I didn't see that. All right, oh, I see Mount Airy Tigers are here. Okay. There we go. All right, no questions. So I'm gonna assume you've got it, or you've been called away to something important to you. No idea where we're at right now. One of those two things. Okay, so we went over how to get your parents connected. I do want to just share some resources. I have been sharing on getting our parents and families connected. It's not just about getting them connected to Schoology, but it's about what kind of support systems that we can have in place once they're connected. And so I'd like to talk about that a little bit. And also just some other things that you might want to be aware of, mindful of, is that our district does measure our parents using Schoology or our connected parents. Now, what they're currently doing with that data, I'm not sure, but it is something that we can see by the numbers. This slide was from back in July of 2017, because it's the last time I was doing parent data. I believe somebody else took that over. I didn't have to pull data anymore. But we do measure how many parents are connected. Now, if you look at this, we only had 0.6 parents connected back in 2017. We were all fully face-to-face. Some people claim it was a better world then. Might have been. But we do measure this in our district. Okay. So once you have parents connected, how can you get them connected and keep them engaged? So that's going to be the topic of the next several minutes, is what you can do for parents within the account. Well, my belief is the number one thing you can do for your parents is to help them feel supported. Let them know that you are there to educate their child, but you are there for them as well. And so I like to keep resources at my fingertips, because if a parent comes and asks me a question, again, using that empathetic mind, I'm thinking that parent stopped their day. They might be in the middle of working. They might have 2, 3 more siblings at home that they're juggling. They could be having all kinds of things going on. But once a parent reaches out to me, I consider that my job to solve that problem. And I'm sure you do too. So I like to keep resources at my fingertips. This is a collection of materials that I've shared, I don't know, maybe for 2 or 3 years now. And these are things that you can give parents, ways to get connected to Schoology. I've got an agenda in here from a longer recording that I have posted, step-by-step instructions. So you don't have to do all of this stuff. You can just use the resources. I would keep them right at your fingertips. I'm going to give you the link to this folder now. Resource folder. And yes, I am going to put the chat in my video footer. So if you have to go back to that. But what I recommend you do is just use your little bookmark up here. And whoop, I'm on the wrong folder. Just use your bookmark right here. Now, yes, I have a folder I created called Testing Sci. didn't realize that was going to pop up first. Okay, but I use bookmarks all the time. I'll just go to more and I'll create a new folder and I'll call it parent resources. So just by using your Google tools, you can create a folder for bookmarks and just have that all together. You can hit save, and now all those resources that I just shared with you, you don't have to remember where they are. You don't have to go hunting in your Google Drive link. Just create a bookmark folder and keep them right at your fingertips. So number one thing to do is keep parents engaged by offering them support. So you can be a resource for digital tools, even if you don't feel really strong in digital skills. You all have been amazing this year with adapting and adjusting your in-person instruction, Google Meetings, and posting things online. And I've remained a member of the Blended Learning Academy, and I've been blown away by the amazing things that we offer. But very often, I still haven't seen a corner of Schoology courses devoted to parents. So that's my next recommendation, is that you have something in there just for parents. I'm going to go into a course. Let's see, I believe it's this one. Yep. All right. So you can do something just as simple as having a folder dedicated to them. Now, I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but you can just tuck all your parent information away in that folder and just update it every so often. I like to keep my parent information down at the bottom of my course, but have something that is for families and parents, and just keep those resources in there, even if you just link out to them. Now, if you're super creative and you've got a Bitmoji classroom and all kinds of really fun things going on in your course, then, maybe make something that's visual for them. But have something in your Schoology course that is for parents and families. And then keep in mind, too, that you, let me open a different one. Keep in mind as well that you want to post your updates, keeping the parent in mind. So your updates should or could begin with students or families, or it could be students and families. So you'll notice that this update here, I am addressing that update to students. But let's see, I don't know if I have a recent one in this sample course. You get the idea though. Here we go. I think that's from my last training on this in August. Message to families and students here. So when you're posting your updates, remember that parent who is in and can toggle and view all their child's updates. You want to have some information for them, just post it as an update. The reason you want to post it as an update in addition to just having that folder is that folder is sitting there in the materials, but it just exists there. They have to go into the course to see your folder. Let's take a look at that for a minute from William's account, my grandson. All right, I'm viewing as William. I'm going to go into his course, and I'm going to click on, which one was it? This one. Poor Will. He's always going to be in too many courses in Schoology. All right, I can scroll on down. Oh, this is the wrong course. My bad. I don't remember which one it was. Okay, I can scroll on down and there's my family folder, but look at all the digging that took for me to get to. Here's what I would do. Let me go back to that course. This is a quick tip. Oh, I'm still on the wrong one, sorry. I got to change the icons because when I have two courses with the same icon, that messes me up every time. Okay, sorry, this one. All right, in my parent resource folder, I can open that folder and then I can just grab that URL link. So it's right there. Every folder, when you are clicked inside of the folder, you'll notice I'm in the folder because I'm in my course. The course is named Homeroom, and I renamed my section Ms. Rosemary. And then I'm inside the folder for families, parents, and caregivers. So if I'm inside that folder, now I can grab that link, copy it, and then go to my updates. And I can say, hello, families. Don't forget to check our family resource folder. It can be as simple as that. Now you can jazz it up with images if you want to make those updates pop. You can do all kinds of things, but I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm going to drop the link to that. and just say reminder, parent resources. Right, and I've gotten a better habit of calling it family resources because we know not all of our students live with a parent. Some of them live with another family member or guardian. All right, so I've got my message. I'm going to hit post. Now watch this link though. I'm going to click it here from my side. Yep, I'm in that folder, but watch it from my parent side. And let me go back. I'm viewing as William. In my parent account, watch this. Private access only. Oh, what went wrong? Okay, let's take a look at how to fix that link because you probably have gotten some parents, and I'm nearing the end of my half hour, but this is one of my quick tips. If you post that link, that works for you and your students. So you want to go back to that link and you just want to grab this piece of the URL. What I did was after the CPS-K12.org, so you're still grabbing all of it. And this is probably my #1 tip to make sure a link is friendly for parents. You're just copying the URL after the K12.org. Got that? After the K12.org. Back in those updates, instead of posting that link right here, I could edit it. I'll just drop it here instead. What I'm going to do is type in www.schoology.com and then paste that link. So I did it with a Control-V. Let me do it one more time so you can see what I'm doing on the screen. I'm writing www.schoology.com, and then I'm going to right-click and paste the rest of that link. Now I'll just type something here. All right, let me go back to that parent account now and see what they get. So you'll notice that parents are in a different account. They are not in, actually you don't notice it on mine because I'm a staff member and I've linked my accounts. Sorry, I forgot for training, I always used to not have my accounts linked so you'd see it, but parents are at Schoology.com. They are not at Schoology.cps. So as a parent now, when I click the family link, it's taking me to sign in. All right, I don't want to do that. But you get the idea. It's taking me to Schoology.com. I guess it wants me to sign in first. It's probably because I'm using Firefox. Let me try over here. Yeah, it's going to take me to a sign-in link, but it will work then. When I don't want to log in right now, I don't want to put in my credentials, but it does work for parents. So if you've had parents contacting you because they get private access only, again, if I'm in that folder, let me go back into it on the teacher side, I only want the link after this, okay? So that is the piece because Schoology.cps-k12.org is for our students and staff. Schoology.com is how parents get in. All right, that's for making a quick link that works for parents. And that's the only other tip that I had. I would like to share that some of the tips that I recommend, I think I had some more resources to share, so let me keep sharing my screen. Yeah, I do. All right, some things that I recommend to offer your parents further support. Now, this is just my personal preference. You don't have to do the things that I'm sharing, but one thing that my parents found really helpful was when we were first in remote learning, I did it every day, but I've moved to just twice a week now on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I do what I call afternoon answers, and it's just a Google Meeting link that I share with parents. And so from 2 to 2:30, they can drop in and ask me any question on anything. 9 times out of 10, it's a tech question that I can quickly help them solve because they've either they've run into the private access and I remind them that they're in their parent account, not student, or their child has shared their device with a sibling or maybe even the parent, and so they're not syncing to their student account, and so they're not getting access to things. Sometimes it's just that they're not syncing to Chrome, and so they would have a better user experience if they were syncing. So I can answer some tech questions, but if it's not about tech, here's some other topics that I did share with my families this year. When I introduced the racial justice unit from the Office of Curriculum Instruction, our social studies team, That was a topic that, especially in kindergarten, a lot of people feel maybe nervous about or unsure of how to support one another or just want a safe space to talk. So instead of calling it afternoon answers, we just called it, we were just having a talk. And from 2 to 2:30, we talked about how do we discuss topics like race. And actually, we combine it, race and just difficult things that we see in the news with our young children. And they weren't there to get answers from me, but I was just a parent in the conversation. I was the classroom teacher, and I wanted their perspective. And we had some awesome dialogue. And so when I talked about supporting our families, it's easy to focus on what support they need with technology. We can sometimes forget to support them with what it's like to be teaching our children about topics. Now, some parents struggle with teaching reading. They feel like their child should be doing X, Y, or Z. So maybe once a month or quarterly, you could do it individually just with your own class. I think there's really big power in coming together just as a class community. And so I do it with my class, that we have a conversation on a specific topic. So if it's race, if it's learning to read, one time I shared some information on my beliefs on spelling and early learning and phonics and how we learn to read. And so we just can have a topic of conversation that's open, no real agenda, maybe except for some discussion topics, and have some time to share with your families. So maybe try to put that on your calendar if you can. If once a week is a bit much for you, maybe just try once a quarter. You'd be amazed at what parents come in and share with you when you just give them a space to talk. So I do that with technology and support, but I do it with topics that we're learning about. And even when there was something in the news back in January that was disturbing, we had a session about that where we just talked about the difficult things we see in the news. So that's another tip that I have for you. All right, I'm a little over what I said with my half hour of content. Some more things just for you to be aware of. Again, the parent access codes, they went home by letters. Don't feel obligated that you have to be the one to dig into your Schoology course. Your front office or the help desk have it. And so there is a template that you can see. It's in that resource folder I already shared with you, but ignore the 1718. That was just a copy I had access to. But the district does supply those letters. I had a topic, I'm going to save it for later with Google Meet, how I share things with my students and parents. If I get a question about this, I'll come back. But there are some things that I do not share with my parents. I only share directly with my students for security. Our parents are often on a Gmail account or Yahoo or whatever the platform is. And I don't really know what they're going to do with certain things. So I don't share everything in my class with parents. I keep a lot of things in Schoology where they have to go in and view as their student. And especially anything that involves a recording or has children's faces in them, I keep those pretty locked down. So if you're wondering about how to keep things more secure for your parents, I'd be happy to cover that in the Q&A part of this at the end. Let's see. That was just a cover. I went with another one. If you're wondering where my resources are, I've got my YouTube channel. I've also got a YouTube menu that's in our Tech Talk course, but I'll drop that there just in case you prefer a visual. So I do have my YouTube menu right there. A little shout out or plug for what I'm going to show this afternoon at 2:30 because I'm excited about it. All these teachers that I featured in my Tech Talks, Teacher Talks, sorry, I'm going to highlight those later this afternoon. And I'm going to turn it into a live Q&A session. So we'll go into each one of these from different teachers across the district. One of them was the WAVE Foundation lesson. That's actually with me. But then we'll look at Lauren's walking and talking through with using Seesaw in Schoology, using a virtual classroom, AKA Bitmoji classroom, how to adapt forms, and all these topics. I'll be doing a live Q&A session on all those topics. And that's it. That's all I have. I encourage you to take a 5-minute break or stretch. Go ahead and process your questions. You can throw them in the chat or you can come back. You may or may not know that I recently had a really difficult battle with COVID. I lost about 6 weeks altogether. I went through a really severe case and I had some neurological side effects. So I learned a little bit about the brain while I was going through that and just the importance of the screen break. So I'm taking 5 minutes to step completely away You can come back in 5 minutes and I will check the chat first for questions. So if you've got a question that you just got to know, throw it in the chat. I think it's really important for you. And as you're teaching your kids at home, I try not to go over 30 or 35 minutes without a get away from the screen break. I still do that for my brain health. I learned a lot when I had my COVID neurological issues, but it's important for us. So I'm going to mute everything, be back in 5 minutes, check the chat first, and then we can open microphones if there's not a lot going on in the chat. If you're done, if you've gotten what you needed and you just want to go and put this into practice now, there's no need for you to stay on the call. You could drop off if you want and just go and pull your parent access codes or look at a new way of sharing information with your families. I appreciate your time today. So if you do drop off of here, I'll just say a virtual goodbye now. And if not, I will be back in 5 minutes to get with you on your questions. Thanks. Okay, everybody. Oh. That is 5 minutes. Generally, recommendation is 10 minutes for every hour on the screen. I found it was better for me personally to break it up to 5 minutes per half hour. It's just a little recommendation actually from neurologists that I was seeing when I went through the issues that I was having. So I don't see anything in the chat. So go ahead and open your microphones if you have any questions at all, and I'll be happy to answer those.